Have you ever had a moment where you stopped to catch your breath, maybe after climbing the stairs, or even just getting out of bed, and thought, "Is this just age catching up with me?" It's so easy to explain away little changes in our bodies as just part of getting older. But sometimes, those little changes are more than they seem. Today, I want to talk to you about something that doesn't get enough attention, even though it puts millions of seniors at risk every year. It's called pulmonary embolism, or pulmonary embolism, and for older adults, it can strike without warning, with signs so quiet you'd barely notice them until it's almost too late. If you're over 60, or if you care for someone who is, what you're about to learn could change, maybe even save a life. Let me paint a picture. Imagine your body as a finely tuned orchestra, where your heart, lungs, and blood vessels must work together to keep every cell alive. Now imagine that, without warning, a single note, one tiny blood clots suddenly throws everything out of tune, blocking the music, cutting off oxygen, and threatening the entire symphony. That's what a pulmonary embolism does. The scariest part. For many people, there's no dramatic warning, no clear pain, no obvious crisis. Instead, the body sends out gentle signals, whispers that something isn't right. Most of us brush these whispers aside until a crisis brings everything to a halt. But you don't have to be caught off guard. In this video, I'll guide you through the 5 silent signs of pulmonary embolism that almost every senior misses. I'll help you understand what your body is trying to tell you so you can act quickly, get the care you need, and keep living life on your own terms. Stay with me, because these next few minutes could make all the difference. What is pulmonary embolism? Why every senior needs to pay attention. Let's start from the beginning, because understanding the enemy is the first step to staying safe. A pulmonary embolism happens when a blood clot, usually one that forms in the deep veins of your legs or pelvis, breaks loose and travels up through your veins until it gets stuck in the arteries of your lungs. This clot can block the flow of blood and oxygen, turning a healthy lung into a battleground. Why does this matter so much more for seniors? As we get older, our blood naturally becomes thicker and flows a little slower. Add in common risks like less physical activity, sitting for long periods, having surgeries, taking certain medications, or having health problems like heart disease or cancer, and suddenly, the odds of a blood clot go up sharply, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Pulmonary embolism kills up to 100,000 Americans each year. The vast majority of them are over 60. But the problem isn't just how common pulmonary embolism is. It's how tricky it can be to spot. In older adults, symptoms are often mild, vague, or mistaken for other common problems, like arthritis, heartburn, or simple fatigue. Think about Mrs. Helen, 74. She loved gardening, but after knee surgery, she spent more time on the couch. One morning, she felt a little more out of breath than usual, but figured it was just the weather. By that afternoon, her breathlessness had worsened, and she had a faint ache in her chest. Her family urged her to see a doctor, and tests found a pulmonary embolism, likely started by a small clot in her leg after surgery. She was lucky, but many are not. How pulmonary embolism develops quietly. So why is pulmonary embolism called the silent killer, especially among older adults? It comes down to how blood clots form and move in the body. Most pulmonary embolisms begin as deep vein thrombosis, a clot that forms in the deep veins, often in the lower legs, thighs, or pelvis. Sometimes, these clots stay put, causing swelling or pain in the leg. But sometimes, a piece of the clot breaks off and travels through your bloodstream to your lungs. There, it can block a blood vessel and stop oxygen from reaching vital parts of the lung and, by extension, the heart and brain. What makes it so dangerous for seniors? As we age, our veins lose elasticity and our blood thickens. We're more likely To have surgery or spend time in bed, both major risk factors. Many older adults take medications that raise clot risk, such as hormone treatments or certain cancer drugs. Conditions like obesity, heart disease, cancer, and genetic clotting disorders multiply risk. But here's what's truly sneaky. The symptoms often mimic common non-life-threatening problems: fatigue from poor sleep, swelling from arthritis, shortness of breath from just getting older. That's why awareness is key. If you know what to look for, you can be the first line of defense for yourself or a loved one. Silent sign number 1. Unexplained shortness of breath. The breath you take for granted. Let's talk about breathing, the most natural thing we do, every single moment of our lives. But what happens when something as simple as a breath becomes harder than it should be? Unexplained shortness of breath is one of the most overlooked signs of pulmonary embolism in seniors. Here's why. Most older adults expect to slow down a bit. It's normal, right? Maybe you notice you can't walk as far as you used to, or you get tired faster climbing stairs. But what if that breathlessness comes out of nowhere when you're just moving, around the house, or even lying down? That's a different story. How can you spot the warning? You suddenly need to rest after activities that were easy just last week. You feel winded after getting up from a chair, not just after vigorous exercise. Breathing deeply feels like hard work, never quite satisfies you. Mrs. Linda, 78, shares her story. She always thought she was just out of shape, but one day she couldn't catch her breath carrying groceries. Her daughter insisted on a checkup. The doctor recognized the pattern. She had a small pulmonary embolism. With treatment, she bounced back and became an advocate for others to listen to their bodies. When a clot blocks blood flow in your lungs, parts of the lung cannot exchange oxygen. This starves the body of oxygen and forces the heart to work overtime. You might not gasp or wheeze, but you'll notice you just can't catch your breath. If your breathing changes suddenly and you can't explain why, especially if it's worse when you lie down or comes with a rapid heartbeat, don't wait. Call your doctor and mention the possibility of pulmonary embolism. Silent sign number 2. Chest pain that's not just indigestion. Chest pain is always a reason to pay attention. esPulmonary embolism, cially as we age. But chest pain from a pulmonary embolism feels different from what most pulmonary embolism. Ople exPulmonary embolism court. How is pulmonary embolism chest pain unique? It's often sharp, stabbing, or burning, not the heavy pressure of a heart attack. The pain can worsen when you take a deep breath, cough, or move. Sometimes it radiates to your shoulder or back. Too often, seniors dismiss this pain as heartburn, pulled muscle, or just old age. But if it's new, sudden, and sharp esPulmonary embolism, cially paired with breathlessness, it could be a warning sign. When a blood clot blocks a vessel in your lung, the tissue around it becomes irritated and inflamed. This pain is called pleuritic pain, and it's your body's way of saying, pay attention. What should you do? Never ignore sudden chest pain, esPulmonary embolism, cially, if you have risk factors for clots. Go to the emergency room or call your doctor immediately. Minutes count. Silent sign number 3. Swelling, redness, or pain in one leg. Many seniors suffer from sore legs, swollen ankles, or mild aches, so it's easy to miss when something serious is brewing. Deep vein thrombosis is the most common source of pulmonary embolism, and its signs are often subtle. Swelling in one leg, esPulmonary embolism, cially the calf, not both legs, equally. Redness, warmth, or tender skin over the swollen area. Aching, cramping, or heaviness, esPulmonary embolism, cially, when standing or walking. What's the danger? If a deep vein thrombosis goes unnoticed, the clot can break off and travel to your lungs, triggering a pulmonary embolism. If you have unexplained swelling or pain in one leg, particularly if you've been less active, had recent surgery, or traveled long distance, don't ignore it. Mr. Samuel 80 remembers. I thought my leg was sore from sitting too long, but then my wife saw it was red and hot. We called the doctor, and it turned out I had a blood clot. They said I might not be here today if we'd waited. Doctor's note: one-sided leg swelling is rarely just aging. If you notice it, get checked for DVT. Simple ultrasound can spot a clot before it does real harm. Silent sign number 4. Pulmonary embolism resistant. Cough or coughing up blood. A cough is one of the most common complaints among seniors. Allergies, colds, even heart failure can all trigger coughs. But when a cough doesn't go away, or you cough up blood, it's time to take action. What makes pulmonary embolism cough different? It often lingers even after other symptoms like fever have resolved. It might be dry, or bring up pink, red, or rust-colored mucus. It sometimes comes with chest pain, breathlessness, or fever. Why does this hop pulmonary embolism? A blocked blood vessel in your lung can cause lung tissue to die, triggering irritation, bleeding, and pulmonary embolism resistant cough. If you cough up blood even a small amount, go to the doctor right away. This is a red flag that should never be ignored. Silent sign number 5. Unexplained fatigue, dizziness, or fainting esPulmonary embolism, LLs. Who doesn't feel tired now and then? But what if your tiredness comes out of nowhere and just won't go away? Fatigue from a pulmonary embolism is different. It's a deep, unshakable sense of weakness or exhaustion that doesn't match your activity level. Other signs to watch for: feeling lightheaded or faint. esPulmonary embolism, cially when standing. Confusion, forgetfulness, or trouble focusing. Needing more naps or struggling to get out of bed. Mrs. Dorothy, 83, shares. I started falling asleep in my chair, skipping meals, and feeling dizzy. I thought it was just age, but my doctor checked my oxygen levels. They were low. I had a small pulmonary embolism, when your lungs can't get enough oxygen too. Your brain and body, fatigue, dizziness, and even fainting can result. This is the body's way of saying, help. What should you do if you notice these signs? If any of these signs sound familiar, don't panic, but don't ignore them either. Here's exactly what to do: 1. Don't wait it out. Pulmonary embolism can worsen quickly. The earlier you seek help, the better your chances point to. Contact your doctor or emergency services. Explain your symptoms clearly, and mention you're concerned about a blood clot or pulmonary embolism. 3. Don't try to tough it out. If you're alone and having severe symptoms, call emergency services. Don't risk driving yourself. 4. Keep track. Write down your symptoms when they started, what makes them better or worse, and any risk factors you may have, like recent travel, surgery, or immobility. Remember, pulmonary embolism can be deadly, but it's also treatable as pulmonary embolism, cially when caught early. Blood thinners, clot-dissolving drugs, and sometimes surgery can restore blood flow and prevent pulmonary embolism or Manon damage. Prevention: practical steps every senior can take. The best medicine is prevention. Here's how you can cut your risk, starting today: move. Often, every hour, stand up, stretch, and walk even a few steps. Set a timer if you tend to forget. Drink enough water. Hydration keeps blood flowing smoothly. Dehydration makes clots more likely. Wear compression stockings if your doctor recommends them. Ease pulmonary embolism, cially after surgery or during. Long trips. Manage chronic health issues. Keep diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease under control. Review your medications with your doctor. Ease pulmonary embolism, cially if you take hormone therapy or drugs that affect clotting. Maintain a healthy weight. Even small losses lower clot risk. Be proactive after surgery. Get moving as soon as you're cleared. Follow your care team's instructions for clot prevention. If you have a history of DVT or pulmonary embolism, always follow your doctors. Instructions for blood thinners or monitoring. Enlist family or friends to help you stay accountable. Walking partners, group exercise classes, or simple phone check-ins can make prevention a team effort. As we finish, I want you to remember, the greatest danger of pulmonary embolism is its silence. But you have the power to break that silence by paying attention, acting quickly, and sharing what you've learned. Listen to your body. Trust your instincts if something feels off. Don't be afraid to esPulmonary embolism up. Call your doctor or go to the ER if you're worried. You've esPulmonary embolism NT, a lifetime building wisdom, resilience, and strength. Don't let a silent threat steal your pulmonary embolism indents or your future. Here's what you can do right now: share this video with friends, family, or anyone caring for an older adult. Subscribe for more practical tips to stay healthy. And pulmonary embolism ND, leave a comment. Have you or someone you know exPulmonary embolism rience a warning sign that turned out to be something serious? Your story could help others, and most importantly, never ignore the little things. Because sometimes a wisPulmonary embolism or from your body is the shout you need to save your life. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. Your best years are still ahead. Make sure you enjoy every moment.